Control doesn't belong to the loudest voice in the room. It doesn't belong to the man pounding his chest, cutting you off, or trying to rattle you. Control shifts the second you decide, I will not react, I will not flinch, I will not give you the satisfaction of seeing me shaken. Picture this. He's testing you. He interrupts, smirks, maybe leans back with that smug look as if he's already won. Most people would rush to explain, defend, or raise their voice, but not you. You pause. You lock eyes. You let silence sit heavy in the air. And in that silence, he feels it. The shift. His confidence wavers, his smirk fades because suddenly he realizes you are not playing by his rules. Psychological dominance isn't about being louder, prettier, or more charming. It's about being unmovable. It's about walking into a space and sending a message without saying a word. I control myself, therefore I control this room. And here's the truth. Once you master presence, once you learn to observe before you respond, once you hold your emotions like steel, you become unpredictable. And unpredictable is powerful, because the one thing they can't manipulate is a woman who refuses to be rattled. So understand this, dominance isn't a game you play by chance. It's a skill, a discipline, and it starts the moment you stop reacting and start commanding. The question is, are you ready to stop giving power away and start taking it back? Presence is the first battlefield, and if you lose it, nothing else matters. Before you open your mouth, before you explain, before you prove a single point, people have already decided if you're someone they'll respect or someone they'll dismiss. And that decision is based on one thing: your presence. Presence is not about beauty. It's not about what you wear or whether you fit into someone's standards of charm. Presence is power, communicated through body language, voice, and energy. The truth is, most women sabotage themselves before the conversation even starts. They walk in fidgeting, looking down, apologizing with their eyes, rushing their words, shrinking into small movements. And when you do that, you've already handed the battlefield over. So here's the tactical shift. You need to train your presence like a weapon. Think of your eye contact as your first line of offense. When you enter a room, don't scatter your gaze. Hold it. Meet eyes without hesitation. When you lock eyes with someone, don't look away too quickly. That signals submission. Instead, break eye contact on your terms. Slowly, with composure, like you're scanning, not retreating. That one adjustment alone communicates, I see you, but I'm not impressed. Now let's talk posture. You cannot dominate a space if your shoulders are slouched, your chin is tucked, or your movements are timid. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin level, not up in arrogance, not down in insecurity. Think about how law enforcement, military, or high-level professionals enter a room. They don't rush in. They pause, they assess, and then they move deliberately. You should do the same. When you walk into a meeting, a date, or a negotiation, stop at the doorway. Breathe. Take one slow scan of the room, as if you're evaluating your environment. This communicates calm control, and people immediately feel it. Then there's your tone. The fastest way to lose authority is to talk too fast, too high, or too soft. You need to slow down. Drop your voice just a notch lower. It grounds your words. Cut out filler language like, or nervous laughter. Every unnecessary word dilutes your presence. Instead, speak with precision. Deliver short, clean sentences. When you pause, let the silence work for you. Silence makes people lean in. It forces them to fill the gap, and it communicates confidence more than any long-winded explanation ever could. Here's a real-world scenario. Imagine you're at work, and a man interrupts you mid-sentence. Most women either stop talking and let him bulldoze, or they rush to finish their point louder. Both lose power. Here's what you do instead. Stop speaking. Turn your head slowly toward him. Hold eye contact without saying a word. Then, once he's done, continue exactly where you left off, without restarting, without apologizing. That pause alone shifts the power dynamic. You've told the entire room, without shouting, I do not compete for space, I command it. Let's make this actionable. Here's your drill. For the next week, when someone speaks to you, deliberately pause before you respond. Hold eye contact, breathe, lower your tone slightly and cut your sentence in half. Then watch the reaction. People will either become quieter, lean in closer, or start mirroring your calm delivery. That's not coincidence. That's influence. Presence is not a performance, it's training. You have to practice until it becomes second nature. Stand in front of a mirror, check your posture, record your voice and listen. Does it sound rushed, weak, or commanding? When you walk into a cafe or a meeting, train yourself to pause at the door, breathe, and move with deliberate pace. These micro-augments build into a presence so sharp that people feel it before you even speak. Remember this, presence is not about overpowering with force. It's about projecting unshakable control. Once you master it, you won't need to beg for attention, explain your worth, or prove your power. The room will already know. The quickest way to lose control in any interaction is to react without thinking. Most people fall into this trap. They hear something offensive, dismissive, or arrogant, and they instantly fire back. That's exactly what weakens you. Because when you react fast, you're not responding strategically. You're handing over your emotions for free. And whoever controls your emotions controls you. The true power move is observation before reaction. You train yourself to study before you strike. Imagine you're sitting across from a man in a negotiation, a date, or even a heated conversation at work. While he's talking, most people are preparing their response. You're not. You're watching. You're listening with a different ear. You're reading the way he shifts in his chair, the way his tone rises or falls, the flicker across his face when you bring up something uncomfortable. Every single one of those microsignals is intelligence, and intelligence wins wars. Here's what most people don't know. The body betrays the mouth. A man can say, "I'm confident," but his leg bouncing under the table says, "I'm nervous." He can say, "I'm not hiding anything," but the quick dart of his eyes away says, "I don't want you to see the truth." Observation turns you into a lie detector. You stop being controlled by words and start being guided by signals. The next time you're in a conversation, don't respond the moment he stops speaking. Count 3 full seconds in your head before saying anything. Use that pause to watch. Look at his eyes. Did they avoid yours? Did his lips tighten? Did he shift his weight? That pause doesn't just give you information, it also unsettles him. People expect instant responses. When you pause, you send a message. I'm not here to play your game. I'm here to study you. Drill. Practice scan training. When you're at a restaurant, mall, or coffee shop, scan people without speaking. Notice the couple at the next table. Who leans in more? Who pulls away? Who crosses arms when the other one speaks? Start training your eyes to see what most people miss. Because when it comes time to use this skill in a real interaction, you'll be miles ahead. Now let's take a real-life scenario. Imagine a man is trying to provoke you in a meeting. He throws a sarcastic remark your way, expecting you to snap back. Instead, you lean back in your chair, tilt your head slightly, and watch him. You don't blink. You don't defend. You just let silence hang heavy. That one action does 2 things. It unnerves him because he expected reaction, not composure, and it forces everyone else in the room to notice his behavior, not yours. You've just flipped the script. Here's the tactical truth. The person who speaks less usually controls more. Why? Because people reveal themselves when you give them space. They over-explain. They contradict themselves. They show you insecurity they never intended to show. You don't need to push. You just need to observe long enough for them to hand you the evidence themselves. But let me be clear. Observation is not passive. It's not about sitting quietly and hoping for insight. It's active. It's intentional. You're watching every detail like an investigator. You're cataloging patterns. Does he lean forward when he lies? Does his voice drop when he feels guilty? Does he deflect with humor when he's uncomfortable? These are the tells, and once you know them, you can respond with precision. Final drill, record yourself in a mock argument. Watch your own body language. Do you cross your arms, frown, raise your voice too quickly? Until you can observe yourself, you'll never fully master observing others. The more you learn to read your own signals, the sharper you become at catching them in someone else. Observation before reaction is about discipline. It's about denying others the control that comes with triggering you. When you wait, when you watch, when you let silence sit, you become the strategist in the room. And once you're the strategist, the outcome is no longer his. It's yours. If presence is the battlefield and observation is the reconnaissance, then emotional self-control is your armor. Without it, you are exposed. You can walk into a room with strong posture, scan every micro-expression like a professional, but if someone rattles you, if they can provoke you into snapping, defending, or exploding, you've already surrendered the upper hand. The harsh truth: the person who stays calm under pressure always wins. Always. Because when you lose your cool, you stop thinking logically and start reacting emotionally. And emotions are easy to manipulate. A sharp remark, a condescending laugh, a deliberate interruption. These are not accidents. They are tests. They are calculated attempts to pull you into a fight you cannot win. Because the moment you're triggered, he's controlling the game. Now flip the script. Imagine he tries to mock you in front of others. Instead of snapping, you smile. Slow, controlled. You tilt your head, keep your gaze steady, and let the silence sting. That one moment communicates more dominance than any verbal comeback could. Because your silence tells the entire room, I cannot be provoked, I choose my battles, and I never fight beneath my level. Drills. 1. The 3-second rule. Every time you feel your temper rising, count 3 seconds before you respond. Not 1, not 2, 3. During those seconds, breathe. Drop your shoulders, relax your jaw. By the time you speak, your tone will have lowered, your words will sharpen, and your presence will carry more weight. The difference between reacting in anger and responding in control is everything. Drill reverse energy. So next time someone comes at you with aggression, don't match it. Lower your energy instead. If they shout, you whisper. If they rush, you slow down. This reversal creates psychological imbalance. The aggressor expects pushback. When they don't get it, they feel exposed. Suddenly, their power drains and yours rises. Real-life scenario. You're in an argument. He's pacing, raising his voice, trying to drag you into emotional chaos. Most people would chase him with equal energy, but not you. You stay seated, you stay calm, you deliver your words slowly, deliberately. By doing this, you're showing everyone watching, including him, that he's the one spiraling, not you. People don't respect emotional chaos. They respect the one who refuses to be pulled into it. Let's talk strategy. Emotional self-control is not about suppressing feelings. It's about mastering them. Anger, frustration, even fear, those are natural, but you have to redirect them. When he tries to belittle you, let that anger fuel your composure. Channel it into silence, into sharp eye contact, into the steady tone of your voice. Let him wonder, why isn't she reacting? What is she thinking? That uncertainty alone is power. Drill. Practice neutral face. Stand in front of a mirror and train yourself to hold a neutral, unreadable expression. No smirk, no raised brows, no frown. Just calm control. Do this until you can hold it for minutes without twitching. Why? Because the less you give away, the harder you are to manipulate. The greatest dominance comes not from showing emotion, but from making others guess what you're thinking. Here's a truth that rattles people. The calmest person in the room is always the most dangerous. Think of a negotiator with hostages or a leader under attack. Their calm is unsettling because it communicates certainty. If you want to dominate any interaction, you must become that kind of calm. Remember this: every time you snap, argue, or lose your composure, you've handed control to someone else. But every time you hold your ground in silence, every time you choose restraint over rage, you remind the world, I am untouchable. I control myself. Therefore, I control this moment. Emotional self-control isn't weakness. It's strength at its highest level. And once you master it, you'll discover that the less you react, the more others bend to you. Words are weapons. Use them carelessly and they bounce off without impact. Use them strategically and they cut through the noise and hit with precision. Communication is not just about talking. It's about controlling the rhythm, the tone, and the silence between words. The most dangerous mistake women make in conversations is believing they have to explain, defend, or fill every silence. That's not communication, that's surrender. Strategic communication means every word you release is intentional. You speak less, but everything you say carries weight. You don't ramble. You don't soften your stance with unnecessary apologies like, I'm sorry, but, or I just think. Those words signal uncertainty, and once uncertainty slips out of your mouth, you've lowered your own value. Tactic 1: the power of pauses. When you speak, don't rush. Take your time, drop pauses into your sentences like checkpoints. For example, here's what I want. This is why it matters. And this is what needs to happen next. That silence forces the listener to lean in. It gives your words gravity. It's not weakness, it's command. People remember sentences delivered with space more than long paragraphs spoken in panic. Tactic. 2. Silence as leverage. Here's the truth. Silence unnerves people more than arguments. Imagine this. A man interrupts you mid-sentence. Don't snap, don't shout. Stop. Turn to him. Lock eyes. Stay silent. Let that silence choke the air for just a few seconds. Then resume exactly where you left off. That silence does the work for you. It tells him and everyone else in the room, you don't control me. I decide when I speak. Tactic. 3. Precision over volume. Forget about being the loudest voice in the room. Loudness is noise, not power. Instead, sharpen your words. Say exactly what you mean in as few words as possible. For instance, instead of saying, well, I feel like maybe that wasn't fair and I just think you could have considered, cut it down to, that wasn't fair, let's correct it. Short, clean, final. Precision disarms people because there's no wiggle room, no weakness to exploit. Scenario. Let's say you're negotiating a raise at work. You've made your case, the manager says, we'll think about it. Most women would start over-explaining. I understand, but let me just explain why. Stop. Don't do that. Instead, use silence. Look him straight in the eye and say nothing. That silence will sit so heavy that he'll either justify his answer or shift in discomfort. That's leverage. Tactic. 4. Measured tone. Tone is as powerful as words. Lower your pitch slightly. Slow your speed. Drop unnecessary likes and you knows. A calm, steady voice communicates authority, even if you're saying the simplest thing. And remember, smiling when you don't mean it weakens your delivery. Save your smile for when you choose, not when you're expected. Drill. Record yourself speaking. Listen back. Do you rush? Do you add filler words? Do you trail off? Train yourself to cut the noise. Speak in crisp sentences with intentional pauses. Practice reading one paragraph from a book out loud, but deliver it like every line is a command. Here's the truth. The one who controls the conversation isn't the one who speaks the most. It's the one who speaks with strategy. Think of it like chess. Every move you make, every word, every pause, every silence has to serve your position. You don't play all your pieces at once. You play the right piece at the right time. Strategic communication is not about winning arguments. It's about influencing outcomes. When you speak less but say more, when you pause and let silence speak louder than words, when you choose precision over noise, you dominate the exchange. You don't just join the conversation, you lead it. Remember this, in any interaction, words can either weaken you or weaponize you. The choice is yours. Speak with intention, hold your silences like shields, and never waste a single word. That's how you turn communication into dominance. Presence gets you noticed. Observation keeps you informed. Emotional self-control keeps you untouchable. Strategic communication lets you lead the conversation. But without boundaries, all of it collapses. Because if you don't enforce your limits, you're building power on quicksand. Boundaries are not requests. They are non-negotiable lines in the sand that define your worth. Here's the mistake most women make. They confuse loyalty with tolerance. They let people cross their lines over and over again, hoping kindness will buy them respect. It doesn't. Every time you let someone talk over you, every time you allow disrespect, every time you explain away bad behavior, you've taught them one thing. Your boundaries are flexible. And if they're flexible, they don't exist. Boundaries are not about being harsh. They're about being clear. You don't yell, you don't beg, you state, you enforce, and you move on. Respect is never negotiated. It is demanded by action. Scenario. Imagine you're in a conversation and he keeps cutting you off. Instead of saying, "Can I please finish?" or laughing it off, you stop. You hold his eyes and say calmly, "I wasn't finished." Then you continue exactly where you left off. That single sentence, delivered with calm firmness, sets a boundary. No shouting, no emotion, just law. Scenario 2. You're dating someone who constantly shows up late. Instead of nagging, pleading, or making excuses for him, you enforce your boundary. The next time he arrives late, you don't stay waiting. You leave. When he calls, you don't explain or justify. You simply say, "My time is valuable, respect it." You enforce the boundary not with words, but with action. Drill, write your laws. Sit down and write your top 3 boundaries: time, respect, and communication. For example, if someone disrespects me, I disengage immediately. If someone wastes my time, I remove access. If someone violates my space, I assert it clearly. These aren't wishes, they're rules. Once you've written them, you commit to enforcing them without apology. Drill 2. Practice the cutoff. When someone crosses a boundary, don't explain. Don't give a paragraph of reasons. Respond in one sentence and stop. Example, "I don't allow that," or "That doesn't work for me." Then disengage. No follow-up, no defense. The power is in the cutoff. Boundaries also protect your energy. Every time you let someone drag you into arguments, drama, or manipulation, you've given away your mental space. Boundaries reclaim it. They remind others and yourself that you are not accessible to everyone at every time for every request. That level of access has to be earned. Let me be clear. People will test you. They'll push, they'll guilt trip, they'll try to see if your limits bend. This is not the time to explain or justify. This is the time to stand tall, because once you enforce a boundary and stick to it, something shifts. People realize you are not someone they can toy with. You are someone they must respect or lose access to. Unshakable boundaries transform you from reactive to untouchable. They take all the presence, all the observation, all the emotional self-control and communication you've built, and lock it in place. Without boundaries, people will test you until you break. With boundaries, people test you once and never again. Remember this, you are not here to beg for respect. You are here to command it. And the way you command it is by enforcing the price of access to you. Boundaries are that price. Power doesn't scream. Power doesn't beg. Power doesn't explain. Real power is presence that silences a room, control that can't be rattled, words that cut clean, and boundaries that no one dares to cross. You don't dominate by force, you dominate by discipline, by mastering yourself so completely that no one can pull you off balance. And when you reach that level, people feel it. They hesitate, they second guess. They adjust to you, not the other way around. So the only question left is this. Are you walking into spaces giving away control, or are you the one commanding the room the moment you step inside? The choice is yours, and the power, it's already in your hands.